Hello and welcome to the Tree Online Academy. Today we're going to look at part 4 of the IGCSE Biology paper 2-1 of the winter 2019 series. Okay, we'll look at questions 16 through 20. In the previous video we've already looked at questions 11 through 15. Okay, so question 16. We here have from plants, what is transported by translocation? Okay, so if you remember that, let's look through the options here. You should automatically know this, but if you don't, let's go through the things here. So glucagon is a hormone that is secreted by the pancreas when there is too low blood glucose in the body as part of homeostasis, and it's in animals. So glucagon is not the correct answer. Remember that glycogen is a storage molecule in animals, and it can also be for fungus as well, and so it is a storage molecule, and it's insoluble and not a transport molecule. Okay, starch is the storage molecule of plants. Okay, this can be stored inside the chloroplasts or amyloplasts inside the leaf, or starch further down in the potato or tuber. So it's not starch. Yes, option D is correct. Sucrose is soluble, it is created and then actively loaded into the phloem for transport around the plant. Okay. Question 17. So here we have a few samples of pictures of blood cells. Okay, so the diagram shows human blood cells as seen under the microscope. Just so you remember that this is a phagocyte. Okay, you can tell this by the lobed, the 3-lobed nucleus here. Remember, a lymphocyte will have a very large nucleus there, and these pictures are red blood cells. Okay, the red blood cells. Okay, so if we remember, the main function of the red blood cells is to transport oxygen around the body, and it is specially adapted by containing hemoglobin. Okay, let's just go through the options here. To carry glucose, well, if we remember, plasma is how glucose is transported. It's dissolved in the plasma and transported around the blood in the circulatory system in plasma. To carry oxygen, yes, that is the correct answer. We mentioned that earlier. To defend against disease, well, that is to the white blood cells, so that's the lymphocytes and the phagocytes. This picture's a phagocyte. And to make the blood clot, well, no, this is the function of the platelets, and the platelets are also cell fragments that are transported in the blood as well. Okay, let's look at question 18. Remember what passive immunity is. This is an example of where the mother's memory cells will be passing antibodies to a child. Okay, this could either be in the form of breast milk that's consumed by the toddler or infant, or it can be just passively going into the fetal circulatory system through the placenta into their circulatory system that way. So here, this can eliminate options C and D straight away. Okay, because the antibodies are not made by the individual. Okay, they're made by the mother, and they're made by the mother's memory cells. Okay, so that leaves option A and B. Now, remember what I said, antibodies must be made by memory cells. So if they're not made, then there's no memory cells involved. Okay, and passive immunity is short term. This is to fight potential pathogens in the short term. Hopefully over time, a child or somebody with passive immunity will develop their own antibodies through time, through a primary response to this, or by vaccination. Okay, so option A is the only correct option here. All right. Question 19. Which row shows the approximate percentages in expired air? Here's the key detail here: expired air. So it's entered your body processes, and there's been a change in the gradient by diffusing gases out of the blood and gases into the blood. So if you remember that oxygen will diffuse into the blood and carbon dioxide will diffuse out. Okay, now because it's exhaled air, you'd be looking at a decrease in oxygen and an increase in carbon dioxide. But just to remind yourself, just remember that if we look at the inhaled air, okay, inhaled air versus expired air, so the one that's exhaled. So just remind yourself that oxygen is around about, depending on the mark scheme, it accepts between 20 and 22% concentration. The expired air is around about 16%. Now, if you look at carbon dioxide, the inhaled air is about 0.04%, and the expired air is about 4%. Okay, with that information, you may be able to recall it directly, but hopefully this could help you. So here, knowing that, you can eliminate options C, D, and A straight away, leaving only option B. It is easy to memorize these numbers and percentages, so please do so for questions like this. Okay, so question 20. What is the correct equation for aerobic respiration? So remember that aerobic respiration involves the use of oxygen, and it is combined with glucose to make carbon dioxide and water. And in this process, it releases energy. Okay, so with that knowledge, let's look through the options. Carbon dioxide plus water gives glucose plus oxygen. No, this equation is photosynthesis. All right. C6H12O6 plus carbon dioxide. Okay, there's no reaction you've learnt in biology that involves glucose combining with carbon dioxide. Glucose plus oxygen gives carbon dioxide and water. Well, yes, this is part of the equation, but it's not the balanced chemical equation. Okay, so this is a bit of a trick one because they are both correct, but remember that this equation is unbalanced. Okay, it's not the balanced equation. Okay, whereas option D is the correct balanced equation for this reaction. Okay, this is a little bit of a trick question. I didn't ask you for the balanced equation. This is what is the correct equation. Okay, so most people might have picked C unless they looked at option D properly. Okay, so be careful when you're reading the question. Okay, thanks for watching our video today. If you'd like to know more, please register for a free demo on our website, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video. Thank you.